Hi Torkarders, this is a video following up from the session we had at our workshop in March. As part of the Stretch Your Range session, Sarah and I gave you some exercises you could use to stretch your range in two different directions. My job is to do the low stuff because I have the lower voice of the two of us, and this session will all be about getting some more sound out of your bottom range. So we're firmly down in our chest voices. This isn't a comfortable place for a lot of us, particularly if you sing a lot of classical music. We tend to sing in our head voices quite a lot, but I'm going to ask you to sing right down here. So first of all, just be conscious of that sound. If you put your hand on your upper chest there and speak, you'll hear it. My speaking voice is quite low, but if you talk in a low voice, you'll feel that resonance down here. And that's where we're going to be aiming for. So first of all, I want you to make a sound that is a little bit like the one you make when you flop on the sofa at the end of the day on a Friday. Perhaps it's the end of a rehearsal and we've been working really hard, and you get home and you pour a glass of your favourite tipple and you flop on the sofa and go, oh, end of the week sigh. Now, as you do that, make sure that you don't drop your chin. Drop your jaw, which feels a little bit strange and makes you look a little bit strange, but hey, white singing doesn't. So do it again and be really conscious that this is where your jaw's moving. Oh. Okay, next thing is to feel the resonance in your jawline. Now we are talking about chest voice, but you will hear it, feel it here too. So if you do that sigh again with your fingers on your jawline, there it is again. Now, really important that we relax our vocal cords any time in singing. You don't want any pressure on here. We particularly tend to do that when we're singing loud or high or low. So you can do that with your tongue out. That stops you doing it. Makes you look even more strange. But don't put any pressure on your larynx. If you have to give your neck a little wobble and roll your shoulders a bit just to release some of that tension, or make it feel like you're about to yawn, which normally makes me yawn. I'm a big yawner. They're great. They're good for your voice. It might be that it feels like where you would gargle if you're a gargler. Just there. Right down deep in your voice. So that's the kind of sound we're going to be using, and the kind of area of our neck and our throat and our vocal cords and our resonance that we're going to use. The other thing you can use to get low, which is what rock singers might use and sometimes other singers, is a thing called the vocal fry. Now, I don't particularly like it, but I think that's because I am a classical stroke jazz singer and it doesn't go with my repertoire. But the sound of a vocal fry is a bit like a creepy door. So something like this. Lovely sound. You can use that when you've got so low that your voice doesn't quite want to go there anymore. The other thing you can do if a song that you're singing on your own demands something really low, and that generally happens in musical theatre songs, is that you can speak the word. Our speaking voices are generally quite low. My speaking voice is around an F or a G below middle C, for people who know where that is. So you can speak those words instead of singing them if you have to, and that's often a tip that I'll give to a musical theatre student if they've got a particularly low note they can't manage. So we're going to do an exercise which is about finding that low sound. We're going to use the vowel and the consonant vo, as in vocal. It's a bit of an Italian sound, but it's quite useful because it's quite a hard sound and quite an open sound. Vo. It's hopefully going to help you move that way down. And we're going to do that using a downwards 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 sound, like this. Vo. Now, I don't want you to do that in your head voice, which would sound a bit more like this. Because then you're going to have a transition problem. Transitioning is when we move our voices between its different registers. We need to keep it as low as you can, and that shouldn't be a problem for any of us down there, particularly sopranos, because that's really quite low in your range. So we're just going to do that. We're going to work our way down. At the point at which mine becomes unhearable, I'll drop out and I'll just keep playing so that you can keep going if your voice can go lower than mine. Vo. So like any kind of exercise, it needs to be done regularly. You wouldn't plan to run a marathon by watching somebody doing a video about running the marathon and then maybe follow their tips just while you're watching the video. You'd keep it maybe over a year, keep doing all that exercise and build yourself up. So making your voice different, strengthening it in whichever way you're working on is the same thing. You have to keep doing that exercise. So every day, some kind of exercise in your voice will help, and focus on the things that your voice particularly needs at that time. So if low is your thing, maybe do this every day or every other day. Perhaps while you're waiting for the kettle to boil or something like that, it will see you right. So we're going to use that voice finally. We're going to sing a spiritual called Wade in the Water. I'm going to play it through a couple of times. Then I'll play the chords again, but I'll sing a different sound, which is even lower. So if the song itself isn't quite low enough for your voice, there's a kind of a bass line that we can pick up. And hopefully I'll be able to remember what that is, and I'll be able to sing it over. So we'll sing it maybe 3 or 4 times. Sing that an octave lower than I just did. I just can't get it to sound right down here, so you would have heard it. So there you go, 10 minutes-ish that you've spent learning a little bit more and reminding yourself what we did at the workshop about taking your voice just that little bit lower. If you've got any questions, come and speak to me maybe at one of the choir rehearsals, or drop me an email or a message via Facebook, and I will do my very best to help. Happy singing, happy range extending, and thank you for watching.